Hi everybody, I'm Cindy from Elevated Designs, and if you've been following the spring sign insert, this is part 3. What we have done so far is we've painted an umbrella with rain boots, a bee, and a birdhouse with a little bird on it. We also painted this. I do not like this at all. I don't like the colors, nothing. I did cut another one, and I probably will paint it. But the more I thought about it, with spring, you know, to me, spring is flowers and tulips. And so I created another part to this. I might make this 5 different squares. Sometimes I do that. And where what you'll do is there'll be 5 squares, and then there'll be a little stand that you can put the 5th square on. So I just haven't decided. So we're going to go ahead and start painting this. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, Elevated Designs, please do so. I would greatly appreciate it. I also have a Facebook page called Elevated Designs, and if you would please like it and follow it and share with your friends, both my Facebook page and my YouTube page, YouTube channel, I would greatly appreciate it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use some honey brown and a wet wipe, and just kind of do what I did with the birdhouse, and just apply some paint to the planter. And I want to kind of be careful because I did put engraving marks in the middle. And I am going to let that dry and put on another coat because I definitely want it a little bit darker than that. But what this does is it just puts a light coating on your piece of wood. If you're using wood, you'll actually get to see the grain. If you're using MDF, you won't. But you can apply this as dark or as light as you want, and I will go back and sand it a little bit. And then I'm going to go around and shade it with a little bit of milk chocolate just to add a little bit of darkness. I kind of almost want it the same color as my birdhouse. I know I want a little bit darker than this. Now also too, my Uncle Sam fence peeker. I'm not fond of the red, white, and boom insert. So I've actually redone that. And I will be painting that as well. I'll do another video on that. And what I'll do is, if you were to buy the SVG, you're actually going to get both files. That way you can choose which one you like best. I do this all the time. I add things. I like something, I don't like it. And you guys will benefit from it. Try and get one more coat on here. We'll see what happens with that. Now, with this, we're going to have tulips that we glue on to this. That's a separate piece, and then another little piece of the tulip, the front part, will be another glue-on piece. And what's that going to do is just, you know, it's going to create some, you know, dimension, kind of give it a little bit more of a 3D look. So my thought is, to me, you know, it's spring. Spring colors is pink, purples, um, yellows, maybe even, you know, a peach color, white. Um, I have 6 tulips here. I just want very light pastel colors is what I'm gonna go for. Um, just very, very light colors. I might put in a darker purple, um, or a darker pink. I haven't decided. And I don't have, there it is. So, I kind of want to just stick with 3 colors, but it's very possible I'll add a 4th. We'll see. I just might use darker variations. All right. Now, what I'm going to do, because like I said, you glue everything over, I'm just actually going to take a sponge and just paint this whole area in here. And then I'll do a lot of detailed work with shading and highlighting. I feel like I haven't painted in over a month, so I'm a little bit discombobulated. I apologize for that. The color I'm going to try, and I've never used this before, is a color called Lush Green. All paints I use is Deco Art brand. I love their paint. I love their products, period. So that's kind of what I stick with. But this is kind of more on the lines of the avocado. It's not a bright green. At least that's what it looks like in the jar, so bottle, we'll see. Hopefully it's not too dark. Like I said, I've never used it before. A little bit darker than what I anticipated. But I am going to do some highlighting and some shading, so hopefully I can lighten this up. See if I can get that piece of wood just a little bit darker. Yeah, this is a lot darker than what I wanted. Let's see, much different. I'm gonna try the light avocado. I can see a little bit of difference, but not a whole lot. It kind of ends up being a little different type of green. So we will see. We'll let that dry. Like I said, we'll do a little shading around that box just to add a little bit of color. It's not going to create any type of dimension or anything like that, but it's just going to add another color and then just kind of give it a different look. And I'll have to go over this twice for sure. And I'm just using a small flat brush to float some color on here. And all this is going to do is really just darken up the sides. And then what I like to do is wait till this dries and then I'll go back and do the shorter sides. And the reason being is if I was to do it now, my paintbrush is wet, it would actually take off what I just did. So I'm going to take a color called celery green and try and do a little highlighting. On some of these leaves. And I'm just going to kind of focus on like the tips of them, like this hump. So maybe trying to just go like all around that edge right there. There's not going to be any rhyme or reason to my highlighting. kind of trying to focus on like the top part of the leaves where lightness usually is. Using the score lines as a guide. And as you can see, what I've already done is kind of faded somewhat, and that's what happens because you're mixing the paint with water, so it will fade. And I'm okay with that because I personally prefer to build my highlighting and shading gradually. And I might actually go over that longer edge side a little bit better. And I'm just kind of using a tiny brush to go with like the area, how big a particular thing that I'm working on is. And this brush does not hold a whole lot of water or paint. But when it comes to floating, shading, and highlighting, I kind of always like to start off with the highlighting first and then go back and do the shading. That way, if I'm having to overlap areas, I'm overlapping on top of the highlighting. And you'll kind of get an idea what I mean by that here shortly. And I might even actually put some white in with this color just to lighten it up even more and go over a couple areas. All right, the shading color for light avocado is avocado, and it's not, to me, it's not a great variance. So I might have to go back and hit this with a little bit of black green, we'll see. I know as you're floating color on this color, you can't really see it the difference all that much at first. So, like I said, I might have to go back over this with a black green. And you kind of want to watch, like I need to shade right in here, but I need to be careful because I'll take off what I just did there. So you're going to see me bouncing around. Trying to put color on. And I am going to probably mix some black green. I don't know if I'll do the black green full strength. But I know there's areas that I'm going to want to be just a little bit darker. And what this does too is it's actually adding a different color of green, a different tone. I don't know if you can see that in the cameras as clearly as what I'm seeing in person. And how you choose to apply your shading and highlighting kind of just has to be a personal preference. And I'm trying to make my lines as tiny as I can because I don't want to cover up that original color of green. And I'm kind of going on these veins as well, just to add a different color. But how much time you spend on detailed work has to be a personal preference. The more time you spend on detailed work, I feel ends up giving you a better result with the finished product. But, you know, that just has to be a personal preference. A lot of people don't want to spend the extra time doing this. Because it does take you know, more time. I'm actually gonna see about I'm gonna try this desert cactus. I've never used it before. Kind of just to throw in a different color. It's kind of got a blue-green cast to it. I don't know, that might have been an epic fail. And don't do what I'm doing. That's gonna ruin your brush. Yeah, it's not a good color to do. It does not go. It's too different. So I'm just taking a liner brush with watered down celery green and kind of going over left of the vein line. Just to make it stand out a little bit more. And I might have to go back and shade because I'm kind of missing my mark a little bit. Just trying to add a little bit more color and a little bit more distinction. To a few areas. Like I said, you can spend a lot of time doing detailed work. And I think some of these areas really could use like some black green. And what I'll do is I think I'll actually take that little liner brush and water it down just to magnify some areas more so than the others. And when using black green, you want to, I mean, that's the color. It's pretty dark. It's called black green for a reason. I actually think I'm going to, because I think that just might be too much. Take a little bit of avocado and the black green. And mix them together. Just to get a darker color, but not like the solid black green would be. That's too much. I just know I want it in a few spots. Ended up doing all the spots. That's what I mean. This depends on how much detail you want. And some of them I didn't get watered down like I would have liked. So I'm just going to try and mellow it out a little bit. And I don't have great liner brush skills. Some of these lines are a little bit larger than what I would like, but all right. Mix a little bit of that celery green and white. See if I can just get a little bit lighter green color. Not getting enough water in my paint. All right. Okay, let's start painting some of these tulips. Like I said, I know I want these to be pretty light. So I'm going to paint one of these baby blush, which is a pretty light pink. And then you're going to want to paint one of these centers as well. Because you'll be gluing these on one of the tulips. And if you happen to get in the score line, stick it out. I think I'm going to make one of these lilac, which to me, it's a purple, but it's got somewhat a pink cast to it too. So it's just it's a cross between a purple and a pink. Okay, I've made some changes in the colors, so I'm just going to go over them real quick. This is the baby blush, and while I'm at it, I'm going to put them out here in front of me so I can keep track. The next color is lilac, and then what I did is I took the wisteria and white and mixed it and made a color. The next color is purple petal, and then this one is pink chiffon, and then the next one is poodle skirt pink mixed with some white. So those are the three colors. This is going to be strictly purples and pinks, and hopefully it goes with the green. So just kind of stick it on here and just kind of see. So that's kind of what we're looking at for the flowers. The tulips. And then, like I said, I need to go back and shade and highlight these. But I mean, it doesn't look too bad against the green. So once I start adding shading and highlighting, it's going to change the whole look of these flowers. Then you have this. So I think that looks pretty springy. So we'll get to work on highlighting and shading. Okay, I know the majority of the colors that I'm going to highlight with is white. a lot of these lighter colors, I just think white would be a good choice. So, like I'm gonna highlight with white here. This, I'm gonna use pink chiffon, white, white, and white. And kind of what I want to do is just go on the tip of these pieces just to brighten them up a little bit. I'll tell you, today is not my day. There's a little hair. And like this pink chiffon color is just so light that you probably won't see that white at all. Same as this is pretty light. And then what I want to kind of do is go down the side of each of these just to brighten it up. Yeah, you can hardly see the white on this pink chiffon. And I kind of expected that. I have to hit that other side of the purple again. And maybe once I start shading, this white will stand out a little bit more. It's hard to say. When you use lighter colors, the highlighting just doesn't show up as well. I mean, it's hardly showing up on this pink. I thought it would show up a little bit better than that. So definitely shading will hopefully bring this out a little bit better. Then I'm just going to try and just get a little bit up here on the tips. I have way too much water in my brush. I probably should have done one on here too. I'm going to. Well, now I'm going to do pink chiffon. Okay. I'm going to try and do a little shading. On the baby blush, the color I want to use is a color called Cactus Flower. And hopefully this brush is small enough. And hopefully it's wide enough. It's close. It needs to be a little bit wider. And then I'm gonna also shade at the bottom. Walking it up about halfway. And seeing if I can put a little tiny shading line. Actually need more. things are just not going the way I would like. Oh well. I'm just going to try and use wisteria. Maybe that'll be dark enough because I watered it down and it doesn't look like it. So I'll use some purple petal with some wisteria, hopefully to darken it up just a titch. Now the shading color for this pink chiffon is a color called French Mauve. I've never used it before. I don't know how I feel about that shading, and that's the color they recommend. It just looks too bright for me, but it is what it is. I'm going way over what I should be. But I'm gonna come back with some white. And then hopefully the poodle skirt pink will do the trick for that pink. If not, then I'm gonna do bubblegum pink, which I know will brighten it up tremendously. It's pretty faint. So I think I'll mix a little bubblegum pink in there. That shading is just a little bit too dark for me, but because honestly, I kind of want these a little bit brighter than normal, and I think I might even go down the sides of these just to brighten them up a little bit more. All right. Let's do some highlighting on the lilac. I'm going to use pink chiffon. What you can see is almost a white. And I'm going to use wisteria on the purple petal. And I'm just going to highlight the sides this time and then go back and highlight the tips after I do some shading. A part of me feels like I need to mix some white and some wisteria for that purple because it's pretty minimal. I'm going to shade that lilac with a little bit of wild orchid, and what I can tell you is that's a pretty bright color. So I'm going to try and blend the heck out of it. It's going on there pretty mild, which is a good thing. And lavender is pretty bright for the purple petal. So I want to blend that as good as I can as well. I think I'm just going to call these good. And I could use a little bit more shading. Okay. My painting skills are not great today. I don't know what's going on. Oh well. Let's get these glued together and be done with this. And like I said, I always make my score lines significantly smaller. That way it allows you for a little bit of error. That's actually too much glue. Oh, nice. I didn't catch it that busted off. You gotta be a little bit more careful. But this stick fast glue is pretty strong. And that is glued and set up. Lucky me. Just gotta kind of decide where you want things at and glue them on. And I think that's a pretty good arrangement. And I'm actually gonna make those stems a little bit thicker. I made them, I went back and made them thicker, but I think I need to make them a little bit thicker again. I just would feel more at ease doing that. I'm trying to get these lined up the best I can without pressing on them. But that's that. So we have these elements, and this is not, you know. But I'm gonna paint this, and I think what I'm gonna do is paint it a gray. And I might actually replace the B with this. But what I'll do is I'll probably paint this off camera, especially with the way things are going today. Yikes. But I can tell you exactly what colors I'm going to paint it. I'm going to paint it the sand gray. That'll be the color. I'll shade it with a neutral gray. Highlight with a white. And probably I'll put a pink flower on it to get more pink in here. So this is where we're at. I mean, and then I still have to paint the squares, and I haven't decided what color I want to do those. So I will be back on next week to paint those squares and the sign that says spring. And I don't know, I'm really liking these colors here. I might do a white background with these colors. That's what I'm kind of thinking. Because I'm really, really liking those flowers a lot. It just screams spring. So, had little hiccups here and there, but honestly, I like the way it turned out. And I think I'll put this maybe on a very light pink. Maybe even white will be a nice color. So, all right. So that's it for part 3. I will be on next week. I'll be making another video next week to get this finished up. And then I have a summer insert to work on. A adorable beach bum sign insert set. And I also need to repaint that one piece for my Uncle Sam. And then we have an Uncle Sam bench insert that I got to do. And I'm working on a beach one too. So busy, busy, busy creating. So until next time, take care. Bye-bye.